You need to stop resisting and get on the ground.
I'm standing still with my hands
You're being belligerent. Get down now.
Officer, I'm a sitting federal judge. You're making a serious mistake.
I don't care who you think you are. On the ground.
My hands are empty. I'm not a threat, and your camera is recording this.
The dashboard camera captured everything. On an autumn afternoon at 3:14 p.m., Federal Judge Victoria Morrison was loading groceries into her luxury SUV in the parking lot of an upscale shopping mall. She'd spent the morning presiding over a complex civil rights case in federal court. It had been exhausting. She wanted to get home, see her family, rest for a bit, normal thoughts, regular plans, but the next 23 minutes would change everything. Officer Daniel Hudson had been on the force for 7 years. His personnel file contained 11 complaints. Most of them involved interactions with black drivers. Most were from traffic stops. But on that afternoon, he would make a decision that would destroy both his career and shake Judge Morrison's life. Hudson was driving through the shopping mall parking lot when he spotted the black Mercedes SUV. He slowed down as he passed. He watched the driver, a black woman, well-dressed, pulling shopping bags from her trunk. Something clicked in Hudson's mind. Luxury vehicle, black woman. That combination was enough for him. His body camera was recording. Everything would be recorded. Hudson pulled over. He rested his hand on his belt. His steps were deliberate. He had already made up his mind. What black woman could legitimately own a car like that? Judge Morrison didn't notice him at first. She was organizing her bags. When she glanced back, she saw Hudson approaching. She saw the uniform. Immediately, something felt wrong. His face, his body language, his entire approach told her this wasn't a routine conversation. Hudson spoke immediately. "Is this your car?" No greeting, no courtesy. His tone was accusatory. Judge Morrison had spent 20 years in courtrooms watching moments like this play out. Black defendants, police officers, prejudices, but living through it was entirely different. "Yes, it's my car," she said calmly. Is there a problem?" Hudson demanded to see her license. Judge Morrison walked to her purse, which was still in the front seat. She retrieved her ID and handed it over. Hudson took it, but didn't look at it closely. Instead, he was already radioing dispatch with false information. Busta. Suspicious individual, luxury vehicle, shopping mall parking lot, possible drug activity suspected. There were no signs of anything illegal. No crime was occurring. But Hudson had already decided. Judge Morrison's license clearly showed her name and position. It said she was a federal judge. But Hudson didn't seem to process that information. Instead, he asked aggressively, "Where do you work?" "Federal court," she answered. "It's on the license." Hudson's eyes narrowed. "Federal court? What kind of judge? You're saying you're a judge? A federal judge?" His voice carried disbelief. A black woman as a federal judge? That didn't fit his worldview. The body camera captured everything, every tone, every implication. Judge Morrison took a deep breath. She wanted to fight, but she was alone in a parking lot with a police officer. "Yes, I'm a federal judge," she said firmly. "As you can see from my identification, if you need additional documents, I have an identification card in my car. But I'm concerned about standing alone in this parking lot as a woman." Hudson's response revealed his mindset. He became more aggressive, more certain. He decided on an excuse. "Bob, there's been a report of an illegally parked vehicle in this area. Your car is positioned over the line. This is a restricted parking zone. You shouldn't be standing here." It was a lie. The vehicle was parked properly. There was no line violation. Judge Morrison knew this. "I don't understand," she said. "I'm loading my car, I finished shopping, and I'm putting my items in my vehicle. That's not illegal." Hudson grew more hostile. "I need to see your documents, your vehicle registration, insurance card, everything, now." Judge Morrison went to her car. She opened the glove compartment and retrieved her documents, insurance card, a vehicle, registration. Everything was current. Everything was legitimate. Hudson took them from her hands and began examining them with exaggerated scrutiny. He was doing something deliberate. He was turning each document over, examining them as if they might be counterfeit. But they were real. Everything was in order. Then Hudson made a critical decision and he called for backup. 2 additional patrol cars arrived within minutes. Their sirens wailed, their lights flashed. The quiet parking lot became a spectacle. Other shoppers emerged from stores. They watched, they filmed, they recorded. Judge Morrison stood in the middle of the parking lot. Hudson held her documents. 2 additional officers were positioning themselves. The situation had escalated dramatically. 23 minutes had passed. Nothing had been resolved. Hudson, holding her documents, had found no grounds to continue the encounter, but instead of letting her leave, he stared at her face. "What are you doing here? Why are you at this mall?" "I shopped for groceries. I'm loading them into my car. Then I'm leaving," said Judge Morrison. "You might be carrying fraudulent documents. I need to verify them," Hudson said. Hudson opened the car door. He popped the trunk. He searched through the shopping bags. He found nothing. There was nothing to find. After 22 minutes, Hudson's supervisor arrived. Sergeant William Martinez had 15 years of experience. He had been watching the body camera feed. Everything had been recorded. Martinez asked Hudson, "What are you doing?" "Verifying documents," Hudson replied. "What do the documents show?" asked Martinez. Hudson fell silent. The documents showed Victoria Morrison's name. Federal judge, the documents were clean. Martinez looked at Judge Morrison directly. "You're a federal judge, correct?" "Yes," she confirmed. "I came here to shop." Martinez's expression changed. In that moment, he understood what had happened. If this woman was truly a federal judge, Hudson had made a catastrophic error. A radio call was placed. Dispatch ran a check. Records were accessed. Victoria Morrison, federal judge, active appointment, no complaints, no criminal history. Martinez looked at Hudson. "Do you understand how long this has lasted?" he asked. 23 minutes, said Martinez, gesturing to the body camera. Hudson's response revealed his mindset, but Hudson acted as if he hadn't made a mistake. He simply looked at Judge Morrison and said, "All right, you're free to go. No apology, no acknowledgement, just permission to leave." But Judge Morrison didn't rush away. "I want Officer Hudson's name and badge number," she said. Hudson hesitated. Legally, this information was required to be given, but Hudson didn't want to provide it. "Why do you need it?" Hudson asked. "Because your conduct here was unlawful," said Judge Morrison, "and I will be filing a report." Hudson's eyes hardened. Martinez stepped in. He provided the badge number. He provided the name. "You're entitled to it," he said. Judge Morrison pulled out her phone. She recorded everything, the time, the location, all of it. Then she left. She got in her car, started the engine, drove away. Hudson left the parking lot. He thought about it through the night, but nothing prepared him for what came next. The next morning, a phone call came from the Federal Bureau's office. The outcome, $675,000 settlement. The video was released within 48 hours. Millions had viewed it. Hudson was terminated. The internal investigation took 2 weeks. Everything was inconsistent. The body camera showed every detail. Federal Judge Victoria Morrison's attorneys filed a federal lawsuit, constitutional violation, discriminatory treatment, unlawful detention. The city initially tried to defend Hudson, a massive mistake, because Victoria Morrison was not an ordinary person. She was a federal judge. Federal judges are understood by other judges. The system was on her side. First settlement offer, $200,000. Rejected. Second offer, $400,000. Rejected. Third offer, $65,000. Accepted. But more importantly, the city agreed to implement federal reforms, training, supervision, mandatory body cameras for all officers. Hudson relocated to another state. He found work in private security, but people recognized him. He became that cop, the cop who stopped the black judge. His life had changed. Judge Morrison appeared on a national news program. "If I, with my education, my position, my platform, can experience this treatment, what happens to ordinary citizens who don't have my resources?" she asked. America listened.